September 21, 2011. Hiroshima, Japan. The home to many varieties of cuisine, trade, and sports. Some popular tourist destinations include a takoyaki shop in the middle of downtown, a replica of the Yamamoto destroyer harbored in one of its ports, the world's finest pawn shop, and most importantly, the Hiroshima Tigers, a Japanese club team specializing in European football. Home to an astounding 4 million people, it's easily one of the most untouched by World War II. But, the megacity's crown jewels do not prevent gangs and the like from forming within the dense population. For years they have been conducting an undercover operation, to which no one has truly known the true purpose of. To confront one of the ringleaders of these gangs, a man wanders into a university all by himself. No one knows who he even is, or what's going on with his utterly bizarre joke, as he takes his steps inside. The man, as he walks through the halls, doesn't say a word to anyone. The shadows created by his own hat covering his own eyes. What's even scarier is that he's built even better than even the most athletic people in the school, almost like he's a bodybuilder. But that can't be the case, can it? After walking through the halls, lots of teachers telling some students to get in the classrooms, and students staring in his general direction, he finds what he's looking for, the second of 2 school gyms. He opens the door to get inside, and continuing his walk. However, a rather sassy girl was sneaking behind all the school ferns, following him just out of curiosity. Some say only the stupidest of people try and do that with someone they've never met, but so far, no one really noticed her with the burly man walking through the halls. When she got to the gym door, she peeked through, and then immediately noticed that the door was locked. No, that's literally impossible. I mean, someone on her social media website said that was impossible to happen, if people just walk by a door. But eager to keep watching, she puts her face straight onto the door window to go and check. For a second, she ducks, because she thought he moved like he noticed her, but realized that couldn't be the case. Could it? The mysterious man then continued walking, ignoring the class playing volleyball. Soon after, people are beginning to wonder what the hell he's doing here, as he continues walking towards a volleyball court. Even more people are telling him to get away, because he could be hurt by volleyballs being thrown. One person, seemingly in the very back of the room, throws a volleyball straight towards the man's head, smiling, as he does it. After all, no one comes in their turf without passing the test. But the ball suddenly gets thrown straight into his gut the moment he thinks it'll land, instantly knocking him out. The mysterious man then says, "Come on out, I already know the other lackey is in this room. Your sneak attack wasn't good at all." What? Gang members? In this school? There's no way that this is happening right now. So you finally found us out, you little shrimp. Well, congratulations to you. A relatively healthy student comes out of the crowd of those waiting for a turn, walking towards the court. Unfortunately, for you, though, I personally don't think you'll be leaving here without a beating. In response, the mysterious man just puts a hand in his pocket, as he looks towards him, taking him very seriously. Soon after, the teacher instructs the student them to get inside the maintenance room for safety. But, with all classes, there's 2 that manage to sneak their way towards the walls, when the teacher isn't looking. Looking from a distance, they seem to be whispering to each other very angrily about something. 2 girls, one that seems to be rather small, built like a child, with purple hair, and another that seems to be very well endowed. "Oh, we have an audience today? Very well then," the kid says. The mysterious man just breathes in, then looks straight at him. He seems to be concealing his real strength, however, and the look on the mysterious man's face, knowing this, angers the student. "Fine then. I'll show you the extent of my ability, and you'll be dead in one hit. Even if you are a cop." He seems to bulk up, ripping his gym tracks and shirt, revealing himself to be a hulking man covered in scars and battle damage. Not a single normal person I fought alone like this survived what I'm going to show you next. Not even armor can save you. He reels in his left arm, in the process, cracking the gym wall a slight bit and shocking the shorter one, but the mysterious man remains unfazed. Not even moved a little. "Take this," he says, as a gargantuan punch begins to go straight towards the man, but it seems like the force of this punch blew a pretty decent hole in the floor of the gym. In fact, the wind was so great that the girls had to keep their panties from showing and duck at the same time. The massive gang member then smiles, thinking the rubble and the amount of wind for sure killed him. But soon, the dust settles, and the mysterious man appears to be completely fine. "Cute. I felt a lot worse. Hope that's not your special attack." The mysterious man gloats him into getting even more infuriated by either pulling a huge bluff, or maybe he did tank it all. The girls watching are honestly taken aback from this and begin to wonder what's even going on. But it does seem like the bigger one is having a great time in her head at the moment. Who knows what she's thinking about? "What? That's not my best. You lucky bastard. Well then, I'll give you a free hit. Come close to me and see if you get something." Immediately after being as lucky as to not die to my signature attack, you want to go dive in the bleach again? Alright then, let me indulge you. He makes a very prideful and menacing smile, as he looks forward. To be honest, I was holding back a tiny bit just so I could see those girls' panties. You know, that polka dots are my favorite. Oh you damn pervert. The smaller girl yells at him. The man just puts his other hand in his pocket. Clearly he's too disgusted to even talk. Now, this next attack is my crown and jewel, my ultimate attack. He reels up again, but he makes his torso go along with the punch, making the floor also crack, then starts shaking. It's unblockable, and so far, it's on a perfect kill count. Better consider making your prayers, before you meet a gruesome end. The mysterious man still doesn't do anything other than stand there, like he has been the whole fight. Soon, the girls immediately tell him to dodge or do anything to stop his attack from landing, concerned for his safety, and not sure if he even can take those kinds of superhuman hits. Because I'm sure as hell not going to. The hulking gang member says, as he's surely about to kill someone and decimate the entire floor along with it. The strike lands, and the floors massively cracks, rubbles and even starts to damage the concrete foundation from the sheer force of it. The dust immediately clears up and both the girls are thrown towards the wall from the sheer force of the impact. However, the gang member immediately realizes that his target isn't dead. He only feels a hat. He should have crushed his muscles, organs, and bones many times over. How could? Good grief, that's going to be a huge damage bill. The mysterious man doesn't even seem to be concerned or hurt at all, and seems to have turned his back and grabbed the brim of his hat, as the strike happened. Before the gang member can even question any of this, he suddenly gets 20 hits on him all at once from below, and he falls unconscious in the air. That was your free turn. Have a nice sleep. The mysterious man sarcastically says. He walks by and picks up the gang members and seems to have no trouble putting them both on his shoulders. He heads through the door he jammed, before he stops and remembers he had to do something. Kids, this is why you don't join a gang and do drugs. Because someone will have to beat you up for it. The smaller one of the girls immediately salutes nervously and says, yeah, I'll make sure not to do that, sir. The door suddenly unlocks and he pushes his way through the door gently, but it stops at a certain point, and the man has to carefully maneuver his way around. Turns out, the girl that had been following him was still here, and probably recording. Hey, he says, as he talks to the girl, as politely as his ultra-masculine self can do. It's great to be excited about new people coming into school, but shouldn't you be having classes right now? Not at all. It's the end of lunchtime. She very confidently says. Funny, it was 10 a.m. when I last checked, before I came in. He says. Have a reason why you're lying to me? No. Of course I'm not lying. It says it right here on my phone. I updated it to the latest time and everything. It seemed to be the newest phone brand, completely smart, able to tell time, take pictures, and much more. On smelling, it probably would seem perfume coated. The man sighs, as he takes her hand and shows her the gym time. Think you may have made a few mistakes. His expression remains the same, but hers, I think she's a little dazed at the moment. It must be hard, being so confident in your phone's time that you managed yourself, from the comfort of your home to be always right, only to find out that you had the completely wrong time zone the whole time. And her face showed that very hard. You mind, if I just change the time real quick? The man just nods in his usual tone, letting her set the time back properly. She seemed very relieved that she's on everyone's wavelength. Bloody shit, is that the class airhead from room 203, Mayo Sakane? It's really her, isn't it? The smaller one calls out, as she drags the daydreaming buddy of hers towards them. Hi, do I know you? She asks, as if it's the first time they've ever met. Not yet, we haven't, but right now you will. Sweet. I always wanted new friends. Mayo seems extremely excited about this, more than someone with her intelligence should be. Now, you probably aren't going to remember my name, so I'll do the honor of saying my trait so you can forget that instead. Ahem. She gets ready to say something she clearly had been rehearsing for a while, just in case they ever met. But, yellow eyes, right? Mayo says happily, but it seems to take a blow on the smaller girl's ego a bit. I mean, you could remember me by my breast size, my hair, but she seems very defeated, even though no battle has already begun, having to say the awkward stuff herself. Wait, cool. You have long hair just like me. Mayo appears to be a Class A airhead, able to think properly, but always needing to be pointed in the right direction for anything smart to happen. The shorter girl just starts tearing up at this point in humiliation. Yes, you should have noticed right away. But she wipes her tears with her hand and probably reminded herself that she's still got many tricks up her sleeve, because she sure is posing quite hard. But now for what I wanted to show you from the beginning. You see this cool jacket I have on? Yes. Yes, it's the coolest thing ever. You want to know what I have on under this? Wait, please don't. The mysterious man says, before she unzips to reveal a normal long sleeve shirt. Nothing special about it, doesn't even have any pictures. Just a green long sleeve shirt. Well, if that was going to be said, maybe the man wouldn't have to say anything. Well, what do you think? The shorter girl smirks heavily as she does this. This is absolutely amazing. The best thing I've seen since the magician show I saw when I was a kid. You're really talented. Mayo seems very easily impressed. Thank you, thank you. You're welcome to be my friend now. She smiles proudly, but then she stops the proud moment suddenly and, hey Mayo, what do I smell like? Like flower blossoms and the ocean breeze. It very clearly stinks to the man, but I think everyone other than the small girl are too preoccupied to notice. Glad I smell that fresh. The girl then repeatedly taps on her friend, trying to get her out of her heavy daydreaming, poking her arms, her legs, her head, and even waving her hand in front of her face. Sorry about this, crazy future cock, but my friend here likes to get her head in the clouds. It's generally pretty hard to get her out of it. She touches her boob, but that was clearly a mistake, as the nature of the daydream is suddenly revealed to everyone by her moaning and starting to say some weird things, so instead, she lifts up her shirt and touches her in the belly button. The girl then slaps the other girl. Hey Kata-chan, why the hell did you do that? It was a good fantasy this time. Here I have something important to show you. That's just a student, Kata. Not just any random student. The class airhead from the other class. You know, the one that somehow manages to only show up during the summer break. Oh, very nice to meet you, student who, Haru suddenly forgets what she was going to say and nervously looks around the gym room, but in doing so, she accidentally locks eyes with the mysterious man. This somehow makes her even more sexually awakened than when she was daydreaming, and she suddenly loses all hostility and shyness. Hello there, Prince Charmarino. What Joe doing here? I bet being a vigilante must be stressful, huh? Can I help? Please let me help. All of this said really fast, as she bounces around. Haru, stop wanting to be with random cocks you just met. He's clearly not a cock, or he wouldn't be this cool. Well, I think he is a cock. They begin to argue and bicker, and the mysterious man takes the opportunity to walk away, as Mayo somehow cheers them both on. Good grief, he said to himself, as he went with the knocked out gang members. The man then goes looking for an empty room, guided by a piece of paper. Since everyone is either hiding or in lessons at the moment, he doesn't have to worry about being watched. Eventually, he finds the room he's looking for. The room appeared to have not been used in years, the desks seem to be stacked all in one spot, and it seems like there's 2 lone bookcases here. He sits in the teacher's chair and takes out his diary, writing about what just went on, writing each of the girls' first and last names, the identities of the 2 gang members he brought with him, the total damages the gang members caused, and then puts the book away. Better I write all this stuff now so head office doesn't get pissed again. He says to himself. Boss sure is a piece of work. As he finishes and is about to leave the room, all of a sudden, the door opens, and Mayo seems to be ecstatic on what she sees. But she closes the door before she says anything. Hey. So you found my classroom, huh? Like it? Well, I already know you do. Why would you be here, if not that? So, why are you here? It's second period, silly. That means it's gym time. Usually I never get second period, because of, well, the time. But, why aren't you with your class then? Wait, this isn't my classroom. Good grief. Look, I can help you find your way there, if you want. Mayo's face blushes, as she seems nervous. You see, even if this was the right classroom, I don't think I got my measurements yet. I really don't like where this is going one bit. Huh? I'm not talking about my weight, you silly. I'm talking about my, BHW. That's not the acronym for it. Why do you even need me to do it, for you? Can't you ask the nurse? Sorry, I really don't like to be yelled at. The nurse was mean when I last went. The mysterious man gives in, and very reluctantly does it. He also tries to look away, as he holds the tape on her chest, measuring her size, as well as her butt, height, and width. Against her wishes, he also weighs her and finds out she's actually really healthy. He writes it down, and hands her a piece of paper to give to the office. Yeah, just go get your tracksuit. And for God's sake, never make me have to do that again. Will do, mister. Hey, what's even your last name again? Keyjoy, now leave me alone. Yes, Mr. Keyjoy. Upon her leaving, he puts his hand on his face in shame, and seems to activate something that makes him forget he ever did that. Then he acts confused for a bit, until he's ready to do his next task.